Right now, on the very top of your head, there is a living, breathing, and, well, an incredibly complex ecosystem. And if you are anything like, 99% of people walking around today, you are probably suffocating it.
Oh, absolutely. We treat our scalps with this level of hostility that we would literally never dream of applying to the skin on our faces.
Right, like every single morning, we blast our roots with dry shampoo, we trap sweat under these tight hairstyles, and then when it finally feels just too gross to ignore, we chemically strip that entire ecosystem bare with these really harsh, aggressive soaps.
We essentially pave over the garden, spray it with weed killer, and then we sit around and wonder why the flowers look so dull.
Exactly. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at the pre-order campaign and the core philosophy behind a really fascinating new hair and scalp care brand called Raiz Rayo.
Yeah, and the mission for our deep dives today is to explore what looks like a total paradigm shift in how we think about the very basic act of washing our hair.
Because we're going to dive into why treating your scalp like the rich soil of a garden might just change, absolutely everything about your hair's health. And surprisingly, your daily stress levels too. Okay, let's unpack this. What is the actual underlying problem this brand has identified in our daily routines?
Well, it really all anchors on a specific quote from the brand's founder that is repeated throughout these sources. And the quote is, "Your scalp is your nervous system's mirror."
Oh, wow. I love that phrasing.
It's powerful, right? They are fundamentally trying to solve the problem of modern scalp congestion, the chronic oiliness, and those irritating dry patches. And their proposed solution is introducing 100% organic pre-wash scalp oils.
Pre-wash, that's the key part there.
Exactly. The core idea here is to create a calming, tactile ritual that directly combats the biological damage we do with our modern rushed habits. I mean, think about what we actually put our scalps through on a daily basis.
Yeah, you have sweat from your workout, environmental debris from just, walking down the street and
Right. And perhaps the absolute worst offender of all, dry shampoo.
Hmm.
All of that layered together creates a chaotic, inflamed environment right on top of your head.
And to really understand why we would even need something called a pre-wash oil, we have to look closely at why our current shower routines are failing us so miserably. The sources point out this massive, glaring contradiction in the beauty industry.
We are trained to absolutely obsess over the mid-lengths and the ends of our hair.
Right. We buy expensive split-end serums, we use heavy hydration masks, we get regular trims, we pour all our resources into the part of the hair that is, biologically speaking, literally already dead.
Yes.
But when it comes to the scalp, the actual living biological skin where the hair is generated, we just rush through it. We scrub it aggressively with our fingernails, or we just cover up the mess with powders.
Right. And the biology of what happens when we do that is just wild. It creates this terrible biological feedback loop. We notice we're getting a little bit oily at the roots. So what is our immediate reaction?
We overwash it.
Exactly. We reach for harsh, high-sulfate stripping shampoos to fix that oiliness and get that squeaky clean feeling. But squeaky clean actually means you have completely eradicated the scalp's sebum.
And sebum is your body's naturally produced oil, right? Like it's essentially your skin's built-in waterproofing and moisturizing system.
Right. So by stripping all of it away, you completely disrupt the scalp's natural microbiome. The skin panics, it thinks it is dangerously dehydrated, and it just goes into overdrive, producing even more oil to compensate.
And then on a flip side of that, if we just ignore the buildup from all the dry shampoos in daily life to avoid overwashing it, those roots get entirely suffocated.
Yeah, they do.
Like if you were listening to this right now and you absent-mindedly scratch your head midday and find that weird, waxy buildup under your fingernails, that is exactly the biological feedback loop we are talking about. Your roots end up looking dull, heavy, and totally flat because they are trapped under a layer of synthetic concrete.
What's fascinating here is that the insight from the text flips the entire timeline of washing on its head to solve this. The brand states that cleansing actually works substantially better when the canvas is prepared.
Meaning you addressed the buildup before the shower even turns on.
Exactly.
I was thinking about this mechanically, and it really reminds me of doing the dishes.
Oh, how so?
Well, imagine you have a cast iron frying pan that is just covered in baked-on stubborn, sticky grease. The traditional way we wash our hair is like taking a dry, stiff bristle brush and a squirt of harsh dish soap and just furiously scrubbing that dry pan, hoping to scrape the grease off.
Yeah, you are going to scratch the pan, you're going to damage the surface, and you're just going to exhaust yourself.
Exactly. But according to Raiz and Rayo, we should be treating the scalp like delicate, living skin that needs to be primed so that the cleansing becomes a refinement, not a stripping process.
That is exactly the chemical principle at play here. It is basic chemistry, like dissolves. Like if you soak that pan in a warm, softening oil first, the stubborn, hardened grease loosens up. It binds to the new oil.
Right.
Then when you finally introduce the soap and water, it effortlessly washes away because the bonds of the grime have already been broken. It is no longer a violent stripping process.
So, because furious, harsh scrubbing clearly doesn't work for our biology, the natural next step is to ask, well, what actually does work? And the solution proposed in these materials isn't some new synthetic chemical invention whipped up in a lab.
No, it's actually a direct return to ancestral traditions. Specifically, the brand draws incredibly heavily on Ayurvedic and Japanese Kampo traditions.
Compost.
Yeah, and for those who might not be familiar, Kampo is the traditional Japanese study of how highly specific plant combinations and botanicals adapt to the body's stresses. In both Ayurveda and Kampo, scalp oils are fundamentally used before you wash your hair, never after.
Which feels so completely counterintuitive to how we are taught to use hair oil today in Western routines. Like if you buy a hair oil right now, the instructions almost always tell you to run it through your damp ends after a shower to make the strands look shiny.
Right, but the goal here isn't to coat the hair strands at all. It is to target the skin, to soften that buildup and cushion the scalp.
Okay, so how do we actually do it? Because the sources detail a very specific 5-step ritual for this.
They do, and the fascinating thing about this ritual is that it forcibly requires you to slow down. So imagine your routine before you even step into the shower. You start with a completely dry scalp.
Dry scalp, okay.
You take the time to physically part and section your hair to ensure the botanical oil is actually making contact with the skin, not just sitting on top of your hair. Then, you spend 3 to 5 minutes massaging it and using slow, deliberate circular pressure.
And then you just leave it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you let it sit and work its magic for anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes while you go about your morning, drink your coffee, whatever. Finally, you get in the shower and shampoo thoroughly, starting at the scalp to wash it all away.
And you don't do this every day.
No, this is an intentional practice done just 1 to 2 times a week.
I really love the pro tip they include in their ritual guide, too. They suggest focusing the massage specifically on the crown and the hairline to relieve tension.
Oh yeah, that's crucial.
Because we hold an unbelievable amount of physical stress in our heads and our jaws and in our temples, and that tension physically restricts blood flow to the hair follicles. So taking 3 minutes to manually physically work that out is such a smart addition to a health routine.
Absolutely.
But I am going to play the skeptic for the listener here, because I know exactly what you were thinking if you already struggle with oily hair. Wait a second. If I'm trying to get rid of oil and waxy buildup, won't rubbing highly concentrated oil directly into my unwashed dry scalp just leave my hair looking incredibly greasy and weighed down?
It is absolutely the most common concern, and the brand's FAQ section addresses it head-on. The mechanism here relies entirely on the formulation. These are not the heavy synthetic silicone-based oils you find in a drugstore that just coat the hair shaft in plastic.
All right.
These are lightweight, cold-pressed organic oils formulated entirely without water, alcohol, silicones, or synthetic fragrances. Because you are applying it to a dry scalp, the botanical oils act as a magnet. They bind to the synthetic impurities, the trapped sebum, and the dry shampoo buildup on your skin.
Oh, I see.
Then when you go in and shampoo it out thoroughly, the water and the gentle surfactants in your shampoo carry everything. The treatment oil and the trapped grime straight down the drain. The end result is a highly breathable scalp and refreshed roots. You aren't leaving a greasy residue behind because the entire purpose of the ritual is to wash it out.
Okay, so now that we understand the actual mechanics of how this works, let's talk about what is exactly in these bottles. Because you aren't just buying a giant jug of generic olive oil. You have to choose a specific scalp mood, which I find so compelling.
Yes, and this brings us to the architect behind all of this, the brand's founder, Natalie Walker. She is highlighted in the materials as an innovator with over 30 years of experience working right behind the salon chair.
30 years is a long time to study hair.
It really is. And the text makes a beautiful point. She spent those thousands of hours listening to scalp stories, not just styling ends. That deep clinical professional background clearly informed the product line because she didn't just make a one-size-fits-all product. She developed 4 core elixirs.
Right. There is number 1, the awakener, number 2, the harmonizer, number 3, the peacekeeper, and number 4, the rebalancer.
Exactly. And rather than making you blindly guess which formula you need and forcing you to buy a massive, expensive bottle, they are offering these in-curated trio sets.
Yeah, these are sample or travel size collections, right? 3 tiny 30 milliliter bottles for $95.
Yes, designed to help you find your perfect biological match without overcommitting. They group these 4 elixirs into 3 specific rituals based on what your scalp is demanding. The first is the core ritual, which combines elixirs number 3, number 2, and number 1.
And that one is for everyday resets.
Right. The text describes the physical sensation of this specific blend as a silken, cushiony glide with a soft herbal warmth. Then you have the sensitive reset, which pairs number 2, number 3, and number 4. This is specifically formulated for scalps that feel tight, easily reactive, or highly delicate.
And they describe that one as providing a feather-light slip to prevent any mechanical tugging alongside a cocooning, soothing mood.
Yeah, and finally there is the growth ritual, combining number 1, number 2, and number 4. This one is geared toward people wanting the appearance of density and root lift. It provides a gently awakening, bright, herbaceous sensation.
Here's where it gets really interesting. These descriptions are so deeply emotional and sensory, like they aren't just clinically stating, this treats dandruff with chemical X. They are talking about treating reactive and stressed skin with very intentional aromatic profiles designed to change your literal mood.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that aromatic intentionality extends directly to their ingredient standards. The olfactory system, your sense of smell, is directly wired to the amygdala, the part of the brain that processes stress and emotion. So the aromas aren't just for fun, they are functional.
Oh, wow.
And the brand is extremely strict about clean standards to support this. The oils are 100% organic, GMO-free, cruelty-free, vegan, and formulated entirely without parabens, phthalate, sulfates, or synthetic fragrances. It reflects a choice to avoid synthetic fillers and rely entirely on the natural botanicals.
But wait, let me pause you right there, because this is a trap I see all the time in the beauty industry. Just because something is organic or natural does not automatically mean it is safe for highly reactive skin. Like poison ivy is organic, arsenic is natural. How do they justify rubbing highly concentrated, potent plant botanicals into a scalp that is already irritated?
That is a phenomenal point, and it is exactly why the sources include a very responsible disclaimer that we need to highlight. The brand explicitly clarifies that organic does not mean medical grade or hypoallergenic.
Right.
Plant medicine is highly active. Everyone's skin microbiome is entirely unique, so they highly recommend patch testing these elixirs on a small area of skin first, especially if you know you are highly sensitive or prone to allergic reactions. They aren't pretending this is a sterile pharmaceutical.
That makes a lot of sense, and I really appreciate that transparency. It is plant medicine, not a synthetic steroid. So let's say you've done your patch tests, you've picked your trio. What happens next? The sources provide a really detailed timeline of results, and it's very clear this is a long game.
Yes, they are not promising you overnight miracle magic. The timeline they lay out is grounded in actual cellular turnover rates. In weeks 1 and 2 of using the pre-wash oil, you can expect a much cleaner, less congested feeling immediately after wash days.
Because you've removed the heavy layer of synthetic buildup.
Exactly. Moving into weeks 3 to 6, that is when the magic of the skin cycle happens. The scalp starts to feel fundamentally calmer and less reactive. The sebaceous glands realize they aren't being aggressively stripped anymore, so the oiliness and dryness start to balance out naturally.
And then by weeks 8 to 12, that is when you start seeing the really foundational structural shifts. You have established a healthier habit, you are massaging your scalp regularly to increase blood flow, and you might actually start to see an improved look of density at the base of your hair.
Yeah, the core mantra of the brand is stated right there on their materials. Consistency is greater than intensity. This is a slow, deeply intentional process. And what is truly fascinating is that this philosophy perfectly mirrors their actual production and business model.
Right, this is the complete antithesis of fast beauty.
Yes. This is not a mass-produced, heavily preserved product sitting on a hot shelf in a massive distribution warehouse for 2 years losing its potency. This entire launch is a highly limited pre-order campaign consisting of only 350 trio sets.
350 sets globally. That is an incredibly tiny batch.
It is microscopic for a beauty launch, but it is necessary. They are charging customers today to reserve their set, and the actual orders don't ship until the week of May 10th. The biological reason they do this is to craft the batch with total intention and maximum freshness.
Because they are using unpreserved volatile organic plant compounds. Freshness equals potency.
Exactly. There is no overstock. There is no long shelf time where the oils can oxidize and degrade. Get the absolute freshest, most active batch possible. And of course, buyers can cancel their pre-order anytime before shipping for a full refund.
They are really trying to build a community around this too. They mention a loyalty group called the R&R Besties. It is an invitation-only circle where members get early access drops and what they call scalp wisdom to help them navigate their healing journey. So what does this all mean? Like, what is the actual value proposition for the listener?
The overarching value proposition is fundamentally taking back control of the literal foundation of your hair health. It is moving from a reactive routine where you were just putting out daily fires with dry shampoo to a proactive, nourishing routine.
But I do have to ask, how does this integrate with someone who already has a really complex hair routine?
Hmm.
What if you have expensive hair extensions or heavily color-treated hair? Can you even introduce an active botanical oil like this?
The FAQ explicitly addresses this, and it is a major relief
Mm.
because these are gentle organic oils that are thoroughly washed out before you ever apply your shampoo. They are entirely safe for color-treated hair and extensions.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, in fact, many clients use scalp oils to support comfort at the root because extensions can cause a lot of tension and itching. The only specific advice they give is to follow your specialist's guidance and to be careful not to aggressively rub the oil directly onto the extension bonds. You just carefully massage the scalp skin between the bonds.
So you just add the prep step, you prime the canvas. Okay, we have covered a massive amount of ground here today, going all the way from ancient Ayurvedic and Kampo practices to modern microbiome science.
To synthesize what we've discovered in these materials today, Raiz Rayo is effectively flipping the script on modern hair care. They are demanding that we focus on the biology of the soil before the shower even starts.
Right.
By taking ancient proven traditions and pairing them with incredibly clean, biologically active modern formulations, they are offering a way to turn a rushed, chemically stripping daily chore into a calming, nervous system soothing ritual.
It is entirely about changing the relationship we have with our own biology and our daily routines.
Exactly. This raises an important question. We have spent this entire deep dive analyzing how we treat our scalps.
Hmm.
But the broader implication of Kampo and Ayurveda is that the body and the mind are entirely interconnected.
Yeah.
If our scalps are truly the mirror of our nervous systems, acting as physical indicators of our congestion and stress, what are our current rushed, harsh daily routines reflecting about the way we live the rest of our lives?
Wow. If we are furiously scrubbing at the topsoil every single morning, just trying to make it look presentable, maybe the scalp isn't the only thing that's exhausted.
Exactly.
Might slowing down for a simple 5-minute pre-wash massage be the exact kind of unstripping we need, not just for our roots, but for our minds? Something to think about the next time you step into the shower.